Hi, there, it's WB and welcome to World Broadcast YouTube channel. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button and press bell icon to never miss any latest news. Fonda just got devastating news after his sick fantasies about Barron. Enjoy where you're headed. In a tweet sent out early Wednesday morning, the extreme far-left liberal actor Peter Fonda, otherwise known as Hanoi Jane's brother, actually called for 12-year-old first son Barron Trump to be ripped from his mother First Lady Melania's arms and put in a cage with pedophiles. But the actor didn't stop his sick fantasies there. He also called for the public caging and RE of Department of Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen in a tweet Tuesday, and in the vulgar tweet, Fonda said Christian Nielsen is a lying gash that should be put in a cage and poked at by passers-by. He continued, the gash should be pilloried in Lafayette Square naked and whipped by passers-by while being filmed for posterity. But now it's starting to look like Sony Pictures didn't take too kindly to Fonda's lunatic rant, even though the out-of-his-mind actor apologized. In a statement, Sony Picture Classics said Fonda's comments were abhorrent, reckless and dangerous, and that we condemn them completely. But in typical liberal protecting liberal fashion, the statement also goes on to explain that Fonda has only a minor role in the film and the studio will not be pulling it, in fairness to the other actors in the ensemble cast. Later they did confirm the film will have a limited release of only 5 theaters in what will most likely be extreme far-left areas such as San Francisco, Los Angeles, and New York. Here is more on this via the Daily Caller. Sony Pictures has released a statement on Peter Fonda, the actor who has sent vile, disturbing threats to women and children associated with the Trump administration. Sony Pictures Classics, which will be releasing a movie co-starring Fonda in a matter of days, said in a statement sent to the Daily Caller that Fonda's comments were abhorrent, reckless and dangerous, and that we condemn them completely. The statement goes on to explain that Fonda has only minor role in the film and the studio will not be pulling it, in fairness to the other actors in the ensemble cast. Sony's full statement: Peter Fonda's comments are abhorrent, reckless and dangerous, and we condemn them completely. It is important to note that Mr. Fonda plays a very minor role in the film. To pull or alter this film, another creative talent fairly penalized the filmmaker manifests accomplishment, the many actors, crew members and other creative talent that worked hard on the project. We plan to open the film as scheduled this weekend, in a limited release of 5 theaters. Fonda found himself under heavy scrutiny Wednesday after tweeting that the president's 11-year-old son Barron should be ripped away from his family and caged with pedophiles. Fonda has since deleted the tweet. Fonda's manager Alan Summers sent the Daily Caller an apology from Fonda, blaming the vulgar tweet on the images of children on migrant the U.S. border. After the threat against the president's son, a spokeswoman for the First Lady Stephanie Grisham told the Daily Caller that the Secret Service has been notified of the tweet. Fonda has also tweeted advocating the public caging and RE of Department of Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen. The vulgar tweet said Nielsen should be pilloried in Lafayette Square naked and whipped by passers-by while being filmed for posterity. He also advocated for White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders to be separated from her children. Now compare this reaction to the reaction ABC had when they were very happy to pull the plug on the TV show Roseanne because of a tasteless joke. That was a joke. This is a sick fantasy of this typical Hollywood type against a 12-year-old boy and women he doesn't agree with. Whatever happens here, let's hope Peter Fonda never gets work again. Due to his antics of trashing a child, the first son no less, he's likely headed for being an unemployable actor. His big mouth and abusive remarks that were so bad that the First Lady had to contact Secret Service for extra protection of Barron is a risk to any business. Corporations aren't probably wanting to take with ratings already struggling across the board for cinema and liberal sitcoms. Fonda didn't respect the president, a child, or his career as saying these things and doesn't deserve respect in return. Here is more on Hanoi Jane via the Patriotic Post. As for the success of anti-democracy protests by radical protagonists like Fonda, John Kerry and others, Hanoi could not have been more pleased. General Von Nguyen Giap, supreme leader of the North Vietnamese Army, told CBS in a 1989 interview, "We paid a high price during the Tet Offensive, but so did you, Americans. Not only in lives and material. Do not forget the war was brought into the living rooms of the American people. The most important result of the Tet Offensive was it made you de-escalate the bombing, and it brought you to the negotiation table. It was, therefore, a victory. The war was fought on many fronts. At that time the most important one was American public opinion. More to the point, in a 1995 interview with the Wall Street Journal, Bit-In, a communist contemporary of Giap and Ho Chi Minh, who was serving as an NVA colonel assigned to the general staff at the time Saigon fell, had this to say about the left media and Soviet puppets like Hanoi Jane Fonda and John Kerry: "They were essential to our strategy. Support of the war from our rear was completely secure while the American rear was vulnerable. Every day our leadership would listen to world news over the radio to follow the growth of the American anti-war movement. Visits to Hanoi by people like Jane Fonda, and former Attorney General Ramsey Clark and ministers gave us confidence that we should hold on in the face of battlefield reverses." Bill stated further, "Those people represented the conscience of America. The conscience of America was part of its war-making capability, and we were turning that power in our favor. America lost because of its democracy, through dissent and protest it lost the ability to mobilize a will to win. Most notably, but observed, that the 1968 Tet Offensive was to weaken American resolve during a presidential election year. We had the impression that American commanders had their hands tied by political factors. Your generals could never deploy maximum force for greatest military effect." 16 years later, under enormous pressure after Ronald Reagan had restored the honorable social standing of military service, Fonda admitted to former American Pulse and their families that she regretted the pain she caused them. Few accepted her apology. Please don't forget to like and support our channel by press subscribe button. Thank you for watching.